The news coming out of Punjab, in fact, not just Punjab, but specifically Amritsar, would have surprised a lot of people. A lot of people would have been taken aback because Punjab has not really been in the news in terms of its internal politics. And this is not just about Punjab politics or even about Akali Dal's politics or Sikh politics. This is emanating from Sikh religious practices, because the Sikhs have a few unique concepts. One of those unique concepts is the concept of Miri and Piri. Miri means temporal power, political power, you can say. Mir kaun hai yahan ka? Who's the boss? Piri is spiritual power. So the sixth Sikh Guru Hargobind, after his father Guru Arjan had been executed by Jahangir, Guru Hargobind thought that maybe it's a good idea for Sikhs to learn military training, to learn to use arms and to militarize themselves. And he decided that it wasn't possible for the Sikhs to protect what was then seen as their freedom of religion and also non-interference from the Mughals unless they were armed as well and they had political power too. So ceremonially, he was very young. He was born only in 1595. He was anointed Guru at the age of 11 because his father had been executed by Emperor Jahangir. Shortly after that, he came up with the idea that the religious head of Sikhism, that is the Guru those days, the Guru will bear two swords symbolically. Two swords, one of Miri and one of Piri. So one of spirituality and one of temporal power or political power. So he ritually wore both swords. And the seat of that power was located on a mound where he used to play. On that mound, a platform was constructed. That platform was ready by 1609. And it is from that platform that he held court. And that since then has become a very firm tradition in Sikhism. And that is where the head priest of the Akal Takht, the Jathedar of the Akal Takht, sits around this. Over this, then a beautiful building was built. That is the Akal Takht building that you see now facing the Golden Temple. If you are looking at the Golden Temple, the Akal Takht is behind you in straight line with the Golden Temple. This is also a very sensitive structure because this is what was destroyed during Operation Blue Star. Then in a sort of secretive operation, Bhutta Singh, who was then the Home Minister, he had it reconstructed using the Nihang chief Baba Santa Singh. Later, the devout Sikhs pulled down the structure that Baba Santa Singh had built and they built a new Akal Takht. That is the building that you see now. In fact, if you go to the Golden Temple on many days in the evenings, if you go up to the Akal Takht and you wait long enough, you will find one of the priests coming up and displaying all the weapons, arms from the Guru's era. And one set of those arms will also be the two swords that the sixth Guru Hargobind bore. That is the swords of Piri and Miri. And that's why if you Google Miri Piri, you will find many institutions, Sikh institutions, colleges, schools, also called Miri Piri. This is essential to Sikhism. What this does is, this gives the Sikh clergy, in this case it's a council of 5. It's a council of 5, the Jathedar or the head of the Akal Takht, which is the supreme seat, the supreme court of the Sikh faith. So Jathedar of the Akal Takht, then Jathedars of 4 other key Sikh seats of power. That is Damdama Sahib at Talmandi Sabo in Punjab. That is Jathedar Harpreet Singh, who earlier used to be on the Akal Takht. He is now the head Granthi or head priest of Damdama Sahib. So he's like number 2 in the hierarchy. Then there is Gyani Sultan Singh of Gurdwara Keshgढ़ Sahib at Anandpur Sahib. Then at Patna Sahib. Patna Sahib right now there was a dispute about who will head it. Patna Sahib has an acting head priest. And then Gyani Kulwant Singh, who's the head priest of Gurdwara Huzur Sahib at Nanded in Maharashtra. Nanded and Patna are both associated with the gurus, and that's why these gurdwaras were set up there. These are the 5 seats of Sikh spiritual power. Out of these, the Akal Takht combines spiritual and political temporal power. While this is the council of the 5, two of these, that is the officiating Granthi head priest of Patna Sahib and the Granthi of Huzur Sahib at Nanded, they did not come. They had not come in. Instead of them, 2 more Granthis from the Golden Temple filled in. So in any case, the quorum was fully completed. And when the Akal Takht speaks, when they hold court and decide to hold somebody guilty or innocent or whatever, then the heads of these 5 institutions sit together. So it's a panchayat of the 5 big ones. Now, in front of this panchayat, a whole bunch of Akali Dal leaders were hauled in. A whole bunch of Akali Dal leaders were hauled in, including Sukhbir Singh Badal, the preeminent leader, son of Parkash Singh Badal, who was Chief Minister of Punjab multiple times over. Then these Akali leaders were divided into 3 groups, not in 3 lines, but 3 groups, 3 jhund, 3 groups. So one group was those who were accused of having actively helped the head of Dera Sacha Sauda, that is Gurmeet Ram Rahim Insan, etc., who is now serving a jail sentence for rape and worse. And it has many more cases. He's the one we keep talking about all the time for his serial furloughs on the eve of every election, because he has a humongous number of followers, particularly among the poorer sections and also among the backward castes and scheduled castes. And political party in power, in this case the BJP, wants him out before the elections so he can, one, it's a favor to him, a little sweetheart deal on the eve of elections, and second, so the message goes from him to his followers to vote for the ruling party. It was he who was accused of incidents of sacrilege in Punjab. In early 2000, say 2005, 6, 7, that period, there were some incidents of sacrilege. In some gurdwaras, pages torn from the Holy Guru Granth Sahib were found. Again, in Sikh tradition, the Guru Granth Sahib is seen as a living being. So if a damage is done to the Guru Granth Sahib, which is a living being, it's like murdering, assassinating the Guru Granth Sahib. So this was like hatya, and that's why it was sacrilege. So these pages were found. Now, whoever it had done this obviously wanted to create mischief and create instability. So mischief did happen, instability did happen. There were massive protests, and when there were protests, police fired at the protesters in some places. Some protesters were killed. Important thing is, through all of this, Shiromani Akali Dal was in power. So that is the father and son. This series of sacrilege incidents became a big deal in Punjab. This also ultimately led to many incidents of lynchings, because people's nerves became very frayed, devout Sikhs' nerves became very frayed, and any false movement that a devotee or a visitor was seen to be carrying out in a Gurdwara setting was immediately suspected to be attempted sacrilege. And that's how we also saw a lynching at the Golden Temple in Amritsar as well. Now, what happened? When these protests took place, the police fired, people died. Some people died. So the immediate allegation was that the Akali Dal government ordered the police to fire, and they in a way sided with the Deras because the Deras controlled the votes. Akali Dal was then in partnership with the BJP. Then the Sikh clergy, again the Akal Takht, they got together and they declared Gurmeet Ram Rahim to be a Tankhaya. They excommunicated him, and obviously it looked like it will become impossible for Sikh politicians, in this case the Akali Dal, to have any dealings with Gurmeet Ram Rahim. Plus, Gurmeet Ram Rahim would have become very worried about his security, etc. Also the devotees who come to him, because many of those devotees are also essentially Sikhs. So if he was to be excommunicated, it would be a very big blow to him. So once again, because he had the power of the vote, so something was organized behind the scenes. And what was organized was an apology. So Gurmeet Ram Rahim sent a fairly groveling written apology to the Akal Takht saying, I did not do any of this, and whatever I did, I apologize, etc., etc. I don't claim to be a guru. And that's when he also started adding the suffix insan with his name. So Gurmeet Ram Rahim insan, to say I'm not a god, I'm not a guru. Because in Sikhism, again, nobody can call himself a guru, because the last Sikh guru, Guru Gobind Singh, said, Sab Sikhan ko hukam hai, Guru maniyo Granth. That after me, the holy book, the Guru Granth Sahib, will be the guru. Guru Granth Sahib then is the embodiment of the living guru. So anybody who pretends to be a guru is actually committing sacrilege. That is also the history, that's also the root of the Sikh Nirankari conflict in 1978, which began in 1978, when on the Baisakhi day in Amritsar, a protest being carried out by Bhindranwale, Sant Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale's supporters were fired at a Nirankari Samagam, and 13 people were killed. For that set off that Punjab crisis that took about 16 years settling down and consumed tens of thousands of lives. So we have to understand these intricacies to get an idea of what's going on now. Now Gurmeet Ram Rahim wrote an apology, and lo and behold, the Akal Takht accepted the apology. They accepted the apology, and then conspiracy theories came out that the Badals had influenced the Akal Takht and the head priests to accept the apology. So in the course of time, that head priest was punished, he was called to account, and then this issue kept on festering until Sukhbir Badal was himself declared a Tankhaiya on August 31 this year, and now this formal hearing was held when sentences were handed out. Convictions were carried out and sentences were handed out. Now the term you will hear quite often in this discussion is Tankhaiya. Tankhaiya, normally you would say, if you follow any Urdu or Hindi, Tankha means salary. So what is Tankhaiya? No. Tankha in this case means punishment, a sentence. So when you are a Tankhaiya, or when somebody is a Tankhaiya, let me not say you are a Tankhaiya, when somebody is a Tankhaiya, it means the person, it's not all he. That's the reason I'm saying the person, because one of those declared Tankhaias this time is also a woman. And because I said that even those in the Akali Dal opposed to Sukhbir Badal have been declared Tankhaias, and I said not all of them are men. So one of them is Bibi Jagir Kaur. Bibi Jagir Kaur has been the head of SGPC more than once. In fact, she was the first woman to become the head of SGPC. She was then tried for honor killing, quote unquote honor killing, in her daughter's murder, and acquitted. So I have to be fair, and acquitted finally. So she is innocent because she was not proven guilty. However, she is also among those declared Tankhaiya now. She is a very active political figure in Punjab, in Sikh politics now. So Tankhaiya is a combination of conviction and a sentencing as well. The sentencing, however, is mostly in terms of offering seva, offering service. So in this case, Badal himself and 12 others, so 13 have been declared Tankhaias. I will give you the names going along. Not all 13 of them, that will be too long, but at least the important ones. But before that, let me tell you what punishments have been handed out to them. So one is to serve as sevadars or volunteers at the Golden Temple. So you can see all of them doing something at the Golden Temple. Two of the most senior ones, most important ones, Sukhbir Singh Badal, because he's had a fractured leg, he's on a wheelchair, he cannot carry out his assigned sentencing, which is washing toilets and washing of utensils and washing of and cleaning of devotees' shoes. So he's been given a sentence of sitting on his wheelchair like a guard in front of the Golden Temple, carrying a spear. That spear is also in a way to say that you are just an ordinary person. You are an ordinary guard. Peredar khade ho aap, right? You are like if you were the DG of police, or if you were the chief minister of a state and you were made to go out on patrol carrying a stick like a police constable, it's a bit like that. It is to humble you. Similarly, Sukhdev Singh Dhindsa, who is a very senior leader, who is not in very good health, he's also been given the same sentence of sitting with a spear. You see all those pictures and videos. And then there will be other punishments also. Second, one is listening to holy kirtan for 1 hour daily. Number 3, and this is tough, carrying a placard on your chest admitting your guilt, right? That's almost like the placards people were forced to carry during the Cultural Revolution in China, except in this case, everybody's life is safe. In fact, this is also a cleansing process in Sikhism, which means once you've done this, you paid your penance, you're back to being a regular, normal Sikh. You're no longer excommunicated. You've served your sentence. You're back in the mainstream. You're back in the faith. Next, every Tankhaya will deposit 11,000 rupees each in the golak, which is the box in which devotees put money, and also 11,000 contributed to the hundi. So it's like the charity box and the donation register. Then each one, this is a very interesting one, each one of these convicts, let me call them, or Tankhayas, they will plant and then maintain 1.5 lakh saplings. Now, where will the land come from? I'm sure there are some arrangements made, but 1.5 lakh per person over 13. So that's many lakhs of saplings to be planted. In addition, the Akal Takht has also taken away the title of Fakhr-e-Quam. Fakhr-e-Quam means pride of the community. Fakhr-e-Quam given to late Parkash Singh Badal. So this is a posthumous withdrawal of that award, and in that sense, a humiliation. In fact, because the clergy then accepted Gurmeet Ram Rahim's apology, the allegation was that the Badals and the leaders around the Badals, they, quote unquote, persuaded the clergy or prevailed upon the clergy to accept that apology because that was needed for their electoral interests. And later, when firing took place by the police, these leaders ordered the police to fire. That's the reason I said these Tankhayas were split in 3 groups, or 3 junts as they were called, not in 3 lines, 3 groups. One group behind Sukhbir Badal were those who actively participated in this. The second group were those who were party to decisions, particularly firing, etc., etc. And third were those whose sin was sin of omission, because they were there and they did not protest and complain. The reason I'm not using any allegedlys is that all of them admitted to their guilt. Nobody contested it. Only Prem Singh Chandu Majra tried to argue, but he was shut down. In every case, the head priest said that we are asking you a question, you can answer in yes or no. No arguments, no on the one hand, on the other hand. Also, it was quite a tough hearing because these are all very senior people who've been in great positions of power. Sukhbir Badal, for example, they were all addressed as tu, not aap, not tusi, not tum, as tu. In any case, these sentences have now been handed out. This process following the sacrilege incidents has actually gone on. In 2017 also, the Akal Takht had declared 3 dozen politicians, both from Congress and Shiromani Akali Dal, to be Tankhayas. Then you apologize, you carry out the seva, and then it gets sorted out. And in the past, this is not the first time such a thing has happened. In the past, very important people have been declared Tankhayas, including Maharaja Ranjit Singh, the only Sikh monarch, 1801 to 1839. He was declared a Tankhaya for marrying a Muslim courtesan, Moran Sarkar. He was hauled in at the Akal Takht, and he was actually sentenced to be lashed in front of the Sangat. Sangat is the congregation, but then he apologized and the congregation agreed to spare him the lashes. So this has gone on for a long time. This is not the first time. I can read out the list of all those who've been declared Tankhayas. That will take an hour, particularly if I start telling you what led to each one's being declared a Tankhaya. But I will mention some as we go along. So 1979, among the more recent ones, Jagdeep Singh Talwandi, who was the former chief of the Akali Dal, he was declared Tankhaya for failing to unite the factions of the Akali Dal. Remember, 1979 comes just immediately in the wake of the first clashes between Bhindranwale's supporters and the Nirankaris. And the allegation against the Nirankaris was that the chief of the Nirankari sect was acting as if he was a guru. He was unfortunately assassinated in the course of time. In 1984, Gyani Zail Singh, then President of India, and Bhutta Singh, Home Minister of India, they were both declared Tankhayas. Gyani Zail Singh gave a written apology and he was readmitted to the faith. Bhutta Singh defied it for some time. He remained excommunicated for 10 years. Then he came and apologized and did his penance, and he was then readmitted in the Sikh faith. In 1986, Black Thunder 1 took place. That is when the police went inside the Golden Temple for the first time after Operation Blue Star and cleaned out a whole bunch of militants who were again trying to strike roots there. This is when Surjit Singh Barnala was the Chief Minister of Punjab. He was declared a Tankhaya. 5 years later, he came and performed 21 days of seva and was readmitted to the faith. 2009, Akal Takht declared Darshan Singh Khalsa Ragi. Ragis are holy singers. Ragis are holy singers who carry out the kirtan. He was declared a Tankhaya for saying blasphemous things in a public discourse in the US. He was then excommunicated. May 2014, Bikram Singh Majithia, brother-in-law of Sukhbir Badal, who has again been declared Tankhaya now, he was declared Tankhaya then for distorting a hymn from Guru Granth Sahib while campaigning for Arun Jaitley in the Amritsar constituency. He also came and apologized and did his penance and got out of it. Then Sucha Singh Langa, again an Akali Dal leader, he was caught in a sleaze video. He went through a process of being a Tankhaya in spite of the fact that in 2018 he was acquitted by the court. But he was acquitted by the Akal Takht only in 2022 after his apology. Underneath all this is a larger crisis. That larger crisis goes along two axes. One axis is the declining vote share of the Akali Dal. See these graphics on your screen. If you look at Vidhan Sabha elections, 2007 Vidhan Sabha elections, all this while until 2021, Akali Dal is a partner with the BJP. So see this vote share also in terms of a partnership with the BJP. So 2007, Akali Dal got 37% vote. Punjab Assembly has a strength of 117. So you need 59 for a majority. Akali Dal got 48 in 2007. BJP got enough of the rest and they got power. 2012, they retained power. This time the vote percentage went down just a little bit to 34.71, but the seat numbers went up to 56, nearly a majority by themselves. But then what happened? Vidhan Sabha 2017, because now a new element had come into Punjab politics, and that was Aam Aadmi Party. So now there was a three-way split of the vote. Congress Party, Akali Dal, BJP, and then the Aam Aadmi Party. In 2017, Congress won power, but Akali Dal came down to 25.24% vote share and only 15 seats. And 2022, when Aam Aadmi Party swept this election, Akali Dal was down to just 3 seats with 18% vote. So you can see, if I may use that expression, a secular decline in Akali Dal's vote share, because this also reflects equally in parliament elections as well. 2009 elections, 4 seats for Akali Dal, nearly 34% vote. 2014, again 4 seats for Akali Dal, but 26% vote, so decline. 2019, 2 seats. The vote share is maintained at about 27%. Then 2024, when Akali Dal and BJP have split, a disaster. Vote share has come down to 13.4%. That's less than a half of what the Akali Dal had in 2019, and only 1 seat, that is Harsimrat Kaur Badal, Sukhbir Singh Badal's wife. And that is where the Akali politics seems right now. It looks like Akalis have completely lost their political support. So that is the one axis. The other axis is SGPC itself. Now that is something about which we had spoken in a full episode of CTC some time back. I think it's episode 1434 if I remember correctly. I'll share a link with you. SGPC is an elected body. It's an elected body under a law that the British passed in 1925, the Gurdwara Act. Then it's been amended and updated from time to time. It's supposed to have elections every 5 years. Since 2011, SGPC has not had elections. One of the reasons they can't have elections is that any time they try to revise their electoral rolls, their numbers come down. Now, two things have happened. One, it is very restrictive in terms of who can vote in SGPC elections. So it's only Sikhs. Either you have to be an Amritdhari Sikh, which is a baptized Sikh. In fact, only baptized Sikhs or Amritdhari Sikhs can contest in SGPC elections. But only Amritdhari or Keshdhari Sikhs can vote in SGPC elections also. Which means even to be able to vote, you have to show evidence that you have not hurt any strand of hair on your body. And that application includes an affidavit and a full frontal picture for men as well as women. And it's quite a tough test for women, for example, as I had mentioned in that earlier episode of Cut the Clutter, even plucking of eyebrow hair or plucking of hair from upper lip, even that disqualifies you from voting. So what's happened is, because society is changing, number of observant Sikhs has come down. So while the 2011 elections were held with 55 lakh voters, okay, then later Supreme Court took Haryana out of Punjab SGPC elections. So that takes out about 2.5 lakh people. So 52 lakh or 53 lakh voters is now not going beyond 27, 28 lakhs, which means the voters for SGPC now look like a half of what they used to be in 2011. And one of the reasons is that the community simply does not have enough people who are observant. So a lot of the stars of Punjab, Punjabi popular culture, among the Sikhs, people who came out in support of the farm movement, Diljit Dosanjh, for example, Sidhu Moosewala, Deep Sidhu, all of these people cannot vote in SGPC elections. So that is the other axis on which Sikhism faces a crisis. Now, what's going to happen now? What's happened right now is that all office bearers of the Akali Dal have been fired. And a committee of 7 has been set up. Committee of 7 putatively headed by Harjinder Singh Dhami, who is the 30th president of SGPC. He's there. Then a bunch of dissidents of the Akali Dal are there, or anti-Sukhbir Badal group members are there. However, they've also been criticized by the Akal Takht, so nobody has been held innocent. This committee now has to rebuild the Akali Dal, which means carry out a new membership drive and also hold elections for president. The important thing, however, is that even those declared Tankhaiya have not been disqualified from participating in politics here on, because once they've served their sentence, they are back to being normal beings and normal Sikhs. That said, this will raise other questions. And one of those questions is, under Indian constitution and laws, a party has to be secular. Akali Dal actually has a secular constitution. The Akali Dal constitution doesn't say anywhere that it's a party of the Sikhs. Everything else happens because it's understood within the party. Now, there are other parties in India which draw their strength from religion. There is AIMIM, there is the Muslim League. There are many others that draw their strength from religion. But they do not have an Akal Takht or a clergy equivalent from which orders come down, like the Pope's encyclicals or ecclesiastical bulls, which are binding on them. So in this case, because the religious body has dismantled the existing machinery leadership of the party and has ordered a rebuilding of the party, this becomes a very interesting situation. It is unlikely that somebody would do it, but if somebody were to go to court and challenge this, this could lead to at least the fear is, this could lead to a deregistration of the Shiromani Akali Dal. Now, once again, I would say that the chances of this happening are very, very, very low. But I am mentioning this to you to explain to you what a complex situation this is. And given how complex this is, I will share with you a bunch of stories, also some done by Chitleen Sethi, my senior colleague in Chandigarh. And also she recommends that the defining book on Sikh politics or Akali politics that should be referred to, because she's referred to that a great deal. That is Region, Religion and Politics, 100 Years of Shiromani Akali Dal by Amarjeet Narang. So go ahead and read it if you are more interested.